In reality, all or almost main cons need like concrete suppliers, bricklayers, tiling subcontractors, specialist subcontractors like bore pies, soil excavation, windows and doors work. Subcontractors or even subcontractors of subcontractors, we call B2, are found everywhere. They are flexible, they're small, and they are very good in their field of expertise. They are quick and they are efficient. We assume that the more specialist the subcontractors are, the more efficient the project would be. Subcontractors, especially common or non-specialist subcontractors, are always in a very tough position. First of all, short time to quote, no time to consider to enter as a subcontractors, short time to deliver and get out from the project, and of course, long time to get paid. They have very limited access to any loan from the banks. The single point of information from the contractors only, and technically they have no risk mitigation sort of exercise against the main con. The delay of payment from the contractor is always the case. We have observed in Vietnam like 90% of them normally got a problem with main con pay. It is very hard to be guaranteed to pay on time, hard to know when the main con are paid. They are closely working with the workers. So the workload normally between them, the subcontractors are human beings. So they are very highly protected by laws. Subcon are always the weakest point. Subcon always the weakest point because they have to face the workload. They need to talk to people. They have a very limited resources like equipment, cash, and normally, and even they have to use the contractor resources at a very high cost and limited resources. In Vietnam practice, there are some circumstances when the subcontractors may find difficult to stay connected with the contractor's interests because by laws, we have no mechanism for subcontractors. Subcontract contract, not available by laws. We can call the subcontractors as set legally aside by laws. The banks and financial institutions are very hard to give loans unless guaranteed by the main con or maybe sometimes by the clients. So the risk is really cannot be handled by the subcontractors. So the cost on capital is high and the source of risk are certain because the only refinancing the loan is coming from the main con. No regulation, no practice for subcon agreement. We normally adopt the main con agreement templates, so it seems not appropriate because the risk cannot be handed over. In Vietnam, we are under the civic law system. We cannot be passed the liability directly from the main con to the subcon and the subcon to the sub of the subcon. It's going to be very hard to do so. Sometimes the subcon may put their labors into demonstration, and we mean like, they have to fight for the payment, especially before that, our Lunar New Year. And sometimes they have to block the project because they cannot get paid. They have no way to get paid. So how to keep the main cons and the subcon relationship maintained well, legally, transparently, and monitor fairly among those involved. From Vietnam point of view, suggestion may be legally by the subcontract as a part of the duties managed by main cons, but there have to be no conflict to the client and the client main con contract. We may suggest that we are going to use the template, or we call systematic templates of the subcontract agreements. For the government funding project, we may find the governmental rights to intervene that relationship if the main con fail to pay the subcon for the job they have done. We may suggest the bank guarantees. It is a little bit odd, but it is certain. That's why SCL Vietnam today bring you a very topic that Mr. Chung, our interim chairman, just mentioned, and bring about the speakers on the very tough and long term, lasting long, but newly mentioned, protection of payment to the contractors and subcontractors, Vietnamese practice and international expertise. We have in our conversation today in order for other speakers. The first topic would be brought to you by Dr. Quang, assumed to be like 20 minutes, on his vast experience while serving Bashi Soletanch, one of the leading specialist contractors in Vietnam. His story may help main cons and subcons find a good work to stay together and to find the conflicts hidden on all steps for the last 20 years. The second speaker, Mr. Kelvin Au from Singapore and Malaysia experience. He would present to you where subcontractors may be found financially and systematically guaranteed by regulations. The third speaker, it is our honor to have Mr. Radoslav Nguyen from Poland. East Europe, which was in a transitional economy from central planning economy into the free market. And we assume that Poland has some point turning around as Vietnam is turning right now. And of course, the fourth speaker, Mr. Wayne Lott from UK, where NCE contracts, very famous contract forms, are widely and initiated, developed, and adopted. And the contract and the management of subcontracts under the common laws may give us a different views to our situation in Vietnam. And of course, we might possibly have Mr. Chung again coming back to the sense on other issues if we may have during the discussion. And then after the speakers session, we would pause like 30 minutes on the Q&A, and all questions are freely welcome to be asked. You may send a message, so we may put there and put back to the speakers. Before me, Dr. Quang is gonna sell right now. Please be reminded, your video would be switched off, your phone would be switched off unless the speakers and the moderators. Welcome, Mr. Quang. Thank you.